The Suns have finally traded KD to the Rockets for Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the number 10 pick in this year's draft, and 5 second-round picks. This trade easily makes the Rockets a contender since they have enough players to make up for what they lost in this trade. They can slide Terry Eason, Cam Whitmore, and whoever else at the 2 or 3. Now for the Suns, I just hate this trade because they added another 6'5 shooting guard. I would be fine keeping Jalen Green if the Suns didn't have Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen, and Royce. Hopefully Jalen Green can be traded to another team, but I have no faith in the Suns front office to do that. I really don't want to watch a team full of 6'5 shooting guards play next season. And with this trade, I expect them to draft a center or wing in the draft. Can Jalen Green work on the Suns? I don't know, to be honest. He does give the Suns something that they need badly, which is athleticism. Plus, Jalen Green has never played with someone better than Devin Booker. So who knows, maybe Jalen Green will play better as a second option. But the Suns just have too many 6'5 shooting guards. I'm cool with trading Grayson Allen or Royce, but I just have no faith in the Suns front office to make the right moves. The Suns got Dillon Brooks in the KD trade, and I don't think enough people are talking about that. I don't like Dillon Brooks' antics, but no one can deny that he's been a good player for the Rockets. Dillon Brooks will most likely be the starting small forward for the Suns next season and be the point of attack defender. The Suns before the KD trade have emphasized that they want the Suns to have a culture that revolves around defense and rebounds, and Dillon Brooks falls in that void for defense. If the Suns can get a good lockdown defender that's a wing or a center in the draft, I'll be really excited to watch that lineup with Devin Booker in at point guard. The Suns just traded 2 first-round picks and Mitchich for Mark Williams. This trade had my brain cooked because it happened right when the Suns picked Malowich at number 10, and I just couldn't understand why the Suns would draft a center and then trade for another center, while the Suns already have 2 centers in Nick Richards and Oso. But now I understand the vision. If the Suns want to compete next season, they can't have their rookie big man Malowich starting games. They need to give him some time to get used to the game and not feel overwhelmed. Mark Williams is a good starting level center that can be a mentor for Malowich, and the Suns only give up 2 first-round picks that will be in the late 20s with a player that they weren't going to bring back in Mitchich. Now the Suns will have a good 48 minutes of center play. I also think the Suns are thinking about playing a big lineup with Malowich and Williams at the 4 and 5. Malowich showed that he's willing to shoot threes and his 3-point shot doesn't look bad. So I'm excited to see what these 2 big men can do on the Suns. The Suns did the unexpected and got a center with the number 10 pick. Somehow the best center in the draft by most experts fell to number 10. And the Suns couldn't say no to drafting Malowich. I'm very excited about this pick, especially because it wasn't Derek Queen. I think Malowich has a higher ceiling and floor than Derek Queen. Malowich is 7'2" and is just huge, while Derek Queen is a little undersized and has some issues with his motor and coordination. Malowich can definitely improve the Suns' defense and give them some much needed athleticism on day 1. What makes him interesting to me is that he's willing to shoot threes. So will we be watching Malowich at the 5 and also at the 4 this season? Or will the Suns make some more moves that gets them some wings? The Suns drafted Rasheer Flemings with the number 31 pick in the 2nd round. The Suns were doing everything they could to get the number 31 pick that they made 2 different trades to get this pick. They gave up 5 second-round picks, and I think they made the right decision. Flemings was a guy I thought would get drafted in the 1st round, but somehow he fell to the 2nd round. Even though he fell to the 2nd round, Flemings feels like a 1st-round pick. He's 6'9" and is projected to be a role player. He shot 39% from 3 and 50% on field goals. He's good defensively, good rebounder, athletic, and is capable of playing the 4 and small ball 5. This pick is just everything that the Suns would want at the 4 spot. The Suns are finally long and athletic. The Suns drafted Kobe Bria at number 41 in the 2nd round. The Suns traded their number 52 and 59 pick to the Warriors for the 41 pick. And I was shocked when the Suns picked Kobe Bria because I've never heard of him. But after watching some tape on him and seeing what other draft experts wrote about him, I'm really excited about this pick. He's a 6'7" guard that shot 43.5% from 3 and is considered the best shooter in the draft. Just by watching his tape, I was really impressed with the type of threes that he was making. He was hitting step backs and pull-up threes. Some people might not like this pick because it's another guard, but I really like how he adds additional length on a team that needs it badly. If Grayson is traded, then Bria can fit into his role perfectly. The Suns draft grade has to be an A+. In this draft, they got more versatile offensively, defensively, longer, and athletic. They drafted Malowich, a center that is 7'2" at 10 that at worst can be a starter in the NBA for the next 10 years. And if he has a high ceiling, can be an all-star or an all-defensive player. They drafted Rasheer Flemings, a power forward at 31 that is 6'9" and is versatile. Flemings can potentially play the 3, 4, or 5. He doesn't look like a future all-star, but he can definitely be a starter or a role player in the NBA. The Suns also drafted Kobe Bria, a 6'7" guard at 41 that adds more length to a team that has a lot of 6'5" shooting guards, and he is the best shooter in the draft. When I say Kobe Bria is a shooter, I'm not talking about some guy that's standing around waiting to catch the ball and then shoot it. No, this man is out here moving like Steph Curry. He's out here running around catching the ball and shooting it. He's out here doing step backs and making threes. He's out here pulling up and hitting threes. I'm very excited to watch Malowich and Flemings, but the player highlights that I've been watching the most is Kobe Bria. This man's game is just too fun to watch, and in some of these shots he reminds me of Book. Hopefully he'll get some playing time next season to see if his 3-point shooting can translate to the NBA. Colin Gillespie is coming back to the Suns on a 1-year deal. I'm excited to see more of Colin next year because in the limited minutes he had, he showed that he is an NBA player and deserves a spot. I mean, there was times that it felt like he was helping the Suns win more games than Bradley Beal or Tyus Jones. I was hoping for Chris Paul to come back to the Suns and be the backup point guard, but so far it's been reported that the Suns are going to sign Chris Paul. So Colin is most likely basically the Suns' backup point guard, and I don't know how to feel about that. I'm excited for Colin, but I also wanted Chris Paul to be a mentor for the young players that the Suns have on the roster like Malowach and Fleming. The Suns did something I did not expect. They signed Nigel Hayes-Davis, who had a successful career in Europe. He won the EuroLeague championship and was Finals MVP. I remember seeing reports last year that the Suns were interested in Davis, and I think a couple months ago the Celtics head coach Mazzulla went to go watch him play. So it seems like a lot of teams were interested in him. It is not hard to see why. He's a 6'8" wing with a 7'5" wingspan that can shoot 40% from 3. I've only watched highlights of him so far and they're really impressive. He currently holds the EuroLeague record for most points scored in a game with 50 points. Who knows if he'll be able to translate his game to the NBA, but it's going to be fun watching him play for the Suns next season, especially with all the length that the Suns have added to the roster this season. Devin Booker just signed a 2-year, $145 million extension. He'll be making $75 million a year when he's 32 and 33. I've seen some people say that the Suns are making a mistake and that the Suns should just trade Book, and that the Suns are basically turning Book into Brad when he was on the Wizards. I think that anyone who talks like that doesn't understand what Devin Booker means to Phoenix. This guy was on the Suns when they were cheeks and only winning 19 games. People were out here disrespecting him, saying that he's a good stats bad team guy and that he wasn't good enough. He could have asked for a trade in his first 5 years on the Suns, but he didn't. He stayed and they eventually made it to the finals. And he was just 2 wins away from being an NBA champion. He's been on a Suns team that won 64 games. He's the Suns' all-time leading scorer, and he was able to get players like Chris Paul, KD, and Bradley Beal to come to Phoenix to play with him. And he's still willing to play for the Suns when they've been cheeks for the last 2 seasons. Everyone in Phoenix loves this guy. Bradley Beal has been bought out by the Suns. I did not think it would end like this when the Suns traded for Beal. I thought he would be a good third option on a team with Book and KD, but he was just a bad fit on the Suns. For the KD and Book era to succeed, they needed a player like Drew Holiday, not Bradley Beal. Beal was not good enough defensively to cover up for everyone's mistakes, and he was just bad at making decisions with the ball. It felt like every time he passed the ball was just an automatic turnover, and it always felt like Beal was injured all the time. The injuries he would get weren't even bad, but somehow he would be out for a whole month. After the Suns buy out Beal, they were reportedly going to sign a combo guard. After seeing this news, I thought maybe they'll sign Chris Paul, Malcolm Brogdon, or Westbrook. But nope, Gambo, a radio host that is basically the Shans for the Phoenix Suns, reported that they aren't interested in any of those players. So now I'm just confused because all those players would have made sense for the Suns, because the Suns need a point guard to set up the young players on the team. I like Colin Gillespie, but he can't be the only point guard on the team. Will the Suns do something random like signing Ben Simmons? He would be a good backup point guard and add more length to the team, but he creates spacing issues since he can't shoot. Or will the Suns just go for a veteran third string point guard like Cam Payne or Monte Morris? It seems like the Suns want Booker to be the starting point guard again this season, and I don't know how to feel about that. I like playing Book, but I think it affects the way he plays. I don't think he looks for his own shot enough and is always looking to pass. There were games last season where I was like, why didn't Book just shoot that? But at the same time, Book is the best player on the team and deserves to handle the ball. I think overall I'm fine with point Book this season, but I'm not excited but not disappointed. I just hope this is the year that Book finds the balance between passing the ball to his teammates and finding his own shot. I think once he can do that, this team will be way better. The Suns over-under right now is 30.5. Yes, I'm an optimistic Suns fan, but I don't think the Suns are going to win less than 30 games next season. I think the Suns can at least win 33 or 35 games next season. They have some good vets on the team in Dylan Brooks, Royce, and Grayson Allen, and young players that can be really good next year in Malowach and Fleming. Plus, Ryan Dunn was really good last season and can make a leap this season with more minutes. I also like how much length the Suns have added to this team. Can the Suns have an Oso and Malowach lineup at the 4 and 5, or a Malowach at the 4 and Mark Williams at the 5? I just think the Suns have a lot of interesting players that can pop off and make this over-under look ridiculous.